Hello Riverview, it's Jeremiah again. Share a quick Devo with you. So Judah broke his arm, or so we thought. Right, I'm driving home from work, I get a call. Honey, I think Judah broke his arm. He's grabbing it, he's screaming, he's right here. I'm like, I'm already hungry, tired, coming home. And the first thing come to mind is like, Lord, like why? Lord, we had that car problem last week. We're going into this week and Judah thinks he broke his arm. We have to go to the ER. I don't know the hospital. I don't know this. And I'm talking to Alyssa. What happened? Where was Judah? Call up the insurance. Call up this and this and this. You need to do this and this. And she's like, okay, you need to take a step back. Because I was being very direct and very edgy. You get grumpy, I get angry. That's the reality of my situation. So I took a pause, took a deep breath, and I was like, okay, God, help me love my wife, help me continue in this so we can effectively take care of the situation. So I called her back, said, I'm here, I'm level-headed, let's do this. And it just took me a second to do that. And what led me to think about this week is it really tested my faith in that moment. It tested my faith in how I spoke to my wife and how I walked through it, talking to her in a way that is honoring to her. And not in the moment that let the pressures and the burdens of the world that feel like they're bearing down on me to react in that way, but to react as a, hey, this is a moment where I can let God show up. Here's a moment where I can allow God to do something miracle here. The miracle would be allowing me to honor my wife and my family under this stress. What I want to tell you guys, we have these tests all in our life, in the midst of our day-to-day decisions with our relationships or things outside of our control. Car situations like I had last week, health problems. And I think it's in those moments where we have to recognize that they're tests in our faith. I'm gonna read this right here, Psalm 66, 8-12. Praise our God, all peoples. Let the sound of his praise be heard. He has preserved our lives and kept our feet from slipping. For God tested us. You refined us like silver. You brought us into prison, laid burdens on our backs. You let people ride over our heads. We went through fire and water, but you brought us to a place of abundance. I will come to your temple with burnt offerings and fulfill my vows to you. Vows my lips promised and my mouth spoke when I was in trouble. He saw these trials at what they were, the burdens that were laid upon their back, the imprisonment that happened, the oppression that they had. He saw them as tests, as refining them. And in refining them, it drew him closer to God and was able to obey him and live it out more. A lot of times we view our testing of our faith as that 40 days in the wilderness. But the testing of our faith now is our day-by-day interactions, those little moments that we have to choose the world or choose our flesh or choose Christ. And when you choose Christ over the pressures of the world, that is when you're sanctified and when you're made to become holy like Christ. More and more you're able to have that confidence to walk forward and have a stature that glorifies the Lord. See, that is something I need to work on, because at the end of the day, Judah, he just sprained his wrist. It wasn't that big of a deal. All situations are not going to end with a sprained arm. They may be worse than that. But what we'll remember years down the line, what will be remembered in heaven, is how we have honored the Lord in our actions. When you guys have a view like that, Jesus will be honored and glorified, and you'll live this life not weighted down. You live this life in obeying Christ. So I just want to encourage you this week, guys, knowing that the situations that you go through are testing of your faith. So go out, be refined this week and daily, as I will, and all for him.